Last year, I decided that I needed to replace my Olympus OMD EM1 Mark 1. It's a really long name. I'm just going to call it the Mark 1. So I decided that I had to replace my Mark 1. I was using it to shoot concerts, and the tracking, the ability to follow rock stars as they jumped across the stage, it wasn't there. And the ISO above about 2000 was iffy. I really didn't like the way it looked at 3200 ISO or 6400 ISO. It just was not pleasing. So enter the Gx8. Gx8 had been discontinued by that point, but it's a 20 megapixel sensor. And I got it for 800 bucks Canadian, give or take. Not bad. I guess the long and the short of it is I'm holding this one in my hand and I've sold my Mark 1. So this is a better camera. Why is it a better camera? What do I like better about it? Well, for one, I really like the viewfinder. The EVF on this is fantastic. I actually prefer it to the viewfinder in the Mark II that I'm recording this on. It just, particularly when I'm using vintage lenses, it's just much easier to tell when things are in and out of focus. It just feels better. The autofocus tracking on this, it's not as good as the Mark II, the OMD EM1 Mark II, but it's really good. It does keep up. It does follow the rock stars as they jump across the stage in bad light and everything. It works really well for that. And of course, the sensor in this is fabulous. There is something magical about the Micro Four Thirds 20 megapixel sensor. The high ISO, the 3200, the 6400, even the 1280 has a particular look that both the Olympus and the Panasonic have that just feels good. I like the aesthetic. I will choose to shoot at a higher ISO than I need to because I like the way it looks. The downsides to this camera, there's really two. And the first is this grip. It's tiny. It doesn't hold, there's not enough to really grab your fingers. And the material it's made of is a little slippery when your hands get sweaty. So the net effect is that if you use this thing all day, your hand starts to cramp. It's not nearly as comfortable as the Olympus. The other problem I have with it is the contrast-only autofocus. It's not that it misses, it's what it does through the viewfinder while you're shooting. When you're doing continuous autofocus, what contrast detect autofocus is doing is it is always going in and out of focus. It goes just past focus and just into focus. It just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the camera's not stupid. It knows when it's in focus. So when you push that shutter button, it'll wait the 100th of a second until you get on your target and it's in focus, and you'll take the shot and the lens will keep moving. But when you're looking through the EVF, you have to trust that that constantly going in and out of blurring is in fact going to be in focus. And I got to tell you, it's really hard to trust that. I still don't like using this in continuous autofocus just because of what it does to my brain, watching that go in and out of focus. I just don't trust it, even though I know it's going to work out. But yeah, those are my gripes. The contrast-only autofocus, just don't like the way it looks, and the grip kind of sucks. But this thing costs today $600 used, US, or about $750 Canadian used. And that's 60% of what a used G9 or Mark II cost. And it's a hell of a good camera. And I just think that if you want a Micro Four Thirds camera, you should really consider this. It's a really good camera. So, that said, let's stop talking about gear. Let's go make some pictures. It's a nice day outside. Cheers, guys.